Setting the first stone. When I was built by the Lord, He set first the beam of my backbone in place to wire my brain to my fingers so I could dream of sanctuary, then shape it with my hands. And even through the hard years, when I fell to disrepair, stripped to the studs, my Maker knew I was worth saving. Always. When you look at your life, if you can't recall whose hands held up your walls, who helped you rebuild after every storm, it's because there were so many. Your walls are painted with fingerprints. Mother, neighbor, stranger who refused to look away. No one does this alone. The Lord soldered your heart to your feet so every step you take, you could take with purpose. When your own roof is firm in the wind and keeps out the rain, you must build a road to reach the next home. We learned this from our Maker, made in His image, made to make this world better. The hand fashions what the brain imagines. The heart inspires where the feet tread. Home by home, bridge and road, connected as one body. Our shared sanctuary. Come, let's build the house we call tomorrow. Help me lift the cornerstone named hope. It's the first we set in place around which everything else is made steady and true. Etch on its facade our prayers. Place beneath it a blessing of grains. Each seed is a dream we keep alive for one another.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We are so excited to share with you how Open House Ministries plans to respond to our current housing crisis. You have all been chosen for a very special reason, and we are so blessed by each of you. I see homelessness every day, not just at Open House Ministries, but as I'm driving in, going shopping, or even dropping my son off at baseball practice, and the crisis is only growing. There are so many things that cause homelessness. Affordable housing is what I am seeing to be the most relevant reason right now. There were 1,245 families in 2020 without housing. And did you know that the average one-bedroom apartment rents for $1,300 a month? I remember coming out of homelessness. I paid only $845 a month for a 3-bedroom. I made minimum wage and I could barely make ends meet. Families are desperate right now. I have families at Open House Ministries with vouchers in hand, and they cannot find affordable housing. Folks, this is not about tents. This is about families, the moms, the dads, and the children that do not see hope for tomorrow. Well, tonight we're launching Hope, Project Cornerstone. And now you'll be hearing from several of our families here at Open House Ministries. Please enjoy.
Hello, my name is Jen. I've been living at Open House for 6 months. I'm done with all my program. I'm finally going back to work, and I have been looking for housing for 4 months now with no luck.
Hi, my name's Ariana. My husband and I and our daughter have lived at Open House Ministries for over a year. We've had a struggle finding housing. But we've completed training at Open House. We've completed all the classes and programming. There's been so many resources that they've helped us with to get where we are today.
Hi, my name's Tiffany Lawrence, and I live here at Open House. I've been here since March 11th, 2021. I've completed the program. I finally got my housing voucher.
Hi, my name is Keely, and I have been here at Open House for about 6 months. I am actually second generation here at Open House. My mom was here about 2 years ago, and this program really changed her around, and she thrived and was able to find stable housing.
We are so thankful for Open House, allowing us to stay here, to have that opportunity to find housing, but we're thankful for the structure and the stability Open House gives us. And it only doesn't give us that for a short amount of time, but it's like it's a tool we could take with us into our next house, and we are so thankful for Open House.
I am very grateful for the opportunity to be here at Open House Ministries. It's given me a very stable environment to be able to find sustainable housing, and so that way I'm not in this position again, and to be able to get my family back together.
I've been blessed to be able to work directly with the residents at Open House Ministries for the past 3 years, teaching classes and providing individual counseling and coaching as needed. I've seen how hard the residents work to gain the knowledge, skills, and experience that they need to change their lives and move towards self-sufficiency. The Open House programming model works. I see weekly progress as the residents participate in classes, counseling, case management, chapel, and job training. Their confidence grows, and in most cases, so does their faith. I get to share in their happiness and excitement when they've completed their programming and come in to show off their brand new housing vouchers. Unfortunately, I also too often experience their increasing anxiety each week as they are unable to find housing and the expiration date of their voucher is approaching. I have felt their dejection when the voucher has expired and they have to start over. It's heartbreaking to see. You heard some of their experiences earlier this evening, yet there have been so many more just in the 3 years that I've been involved. Real lives of moms, dads, and kids who've already experienced so much loss, now on the verge of yet another, the loss not only of a home of their own, but also a loss of their dreams and a loss of hope. That's one of the reasons I quickly agreed to co-chair the fundraising committee with Jim Maines. Project Cornerstone provides a solution for the residents who are ready to move from the shelter to their own apartment, for the residents and their families to continue their journey towards self-sufficiency, and for them to continue to have access to services and support as needed throughout that transition. Jim and I hope that you will join us in becoming part of the solution that Project Cornerstone will provide.
Hi, I'm Michael Lynch, and I'm proud to be alongside Joy and Kendall as co-chair of this Open House Ministries campaign. As you probably know, Joanne and her late husband were part of a small group of local, caring and concerned citizens that founded Open House Ministries many years ago. Their vision, faith, and guidance has been unwavering and essential for the great things happening at OHM today. In seeking solutions for homeless issues and additional shelter in Southwest Washington, I've traveled to many parts of the country looking at best practices. And I can share with you that I've seen a number of good programs, many bad ones, but only a small number of great programs. And Open House Ministries is most definitely a great program and a best practice solution. A solution that restores lives, families, and faith. I've also discovered that whether it's Vancouver or Van Nuys, it's really difficult to build and sustain shelter of any sort. It's even more difficult to build and sustain great shelter like Open House Ministries. Those of us who have never experienced homelessness often have misconstrued notions about homeless solutions. This leads some of us to not realize how genuinely difficult it is to get out of homelessness once you're in it. It's incredibly hard work. Open House Ministries gives people the tools to, simply put, have homelessness as part of their past and not part of their future. Our challenge is figuring out how to enlarge our program in such a way that keeps pace with the growth of the homeless population we serve. Our new Open House Ministries West building will allow us to more than double the number of people we serve. with only a small increase in operational costs. And that's what I call a miracle and part of what makes this campaign so wonderful. We've been blessed with some early bird donors who, through their generosity, have brought us to the halfway point of our campaign. My co-chair Joanne was the first gift we received. Others like Joe Marie and Steve Hansen, as well as Joe Paletto, have come forward since. We thank you, but freely admit we need much more help to reach our goal. As a result, we will be asking each and every one of you to assist us in a meaningful way and as you are able. If any of you would like to talk more about this with me, if you have additional questions I can answer, I'd be glad to do that. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for being part of Open House Ministries. God bless.
Thank you, Michael. We're so thankful to have a community who cares and wants to take action. If you have questions for our panel tonight, please post them in the comments section of your screen. Now, let's take a look at a few architectural renderings of OHM West. The first image is an exterior angle of the building. Then, as you can see, our thrift store and bike shop will be located on the ground level. The apartments will range from studio to 3-bedroom. And this is an overview of a 2-bedroom apartment. The rest of the renderings are available on our website, and I really encourage you to take a look. Now let's take some questions from our audience. Hi, thank you for coming to our Q&A part of the segment. Please remember to ask any of the questions in the comments section, and I can see some questions coming in now. So this one's for Michael. Why are you building now?
Am I on there? Mm-hmm. We're building now. We're building now because shortly the city of Vancouver will be realigning Jefferson Street between 12th and 13th Street. And that realignment is actually going to take out the old hotel. And the Railroad Hotel that currently houses our thrift store has done a great job getting us here. But we were able to acquire a nice piece of property across the street that'll allow us to do this in a seamless transition and put the apartments above that'll enlarge our program. So it's a wonderful thing.
So Renee, here's another question. Do families have a limited time to live in the new apartments?
Oh, that's a great question. So most people know every family who comes to Open House Ministries has a unique situation. We're really not trying to put a time limit on any of these folks yet. Some families will be able to come in and stay 2 years and be able to move on to sustainable housing. Other families may take a little bit longer, some a little bit less. So we're really just not trying to restrict the timeline just yet.
So another follow-on that, what do you think will happen when the moratorium on rents is lifted?
Oh, I think, great question again. I think the face of homelessness is going to change. The reason people become homeless will change. I think we're going to be dealing with a lot more families than what we are now, and we can't serve the folks that are homeless now sufficiently. So I'm really concerned about once the moratorium hits, that Clark County is going to see just a numerous amount of families who are homeless.
It's going to be a challenge that we're going to have to face, and it's just a sad truth that we don't know what the real outcome is going to be yet.
Exactly. So here's a good question. Why is it so important to have the apartment building across the street from Open House Ministries?
So I think if I look at that, I think there's probably two tracks to go on that. I think one is from a resident's perspective, and I think one is from an administrative perspective. And I think from the residents, being able to have that easy access, some of them want to continue programming. Families who move into their new places are still in transition. They still need support. They still need to be part of their community that has brought them this far. And I think being able to have access directly across the street is something that's going to be really important for their growth. I think administratively, Michael, do you want to handle that part of the question?
Well, we knew we needed to enlarge the program from how it was originally conceived when, well, frankly, the population of Park County was less than half of what it is today. And in order to achieve that, we looked at this in quite a few number of different ways. And one of those ways was placing the housing in across the street and being able to enlarge the program. And the more we looked at this, the more we liked that, because it did so without increasing our operational costs to the extreme. And it's going to allow us to succeed.
So here's another question. Renee, you're probably the best to answer this one. What's the best way to help?
Prayer. You know, number one, prayer. Just no capital campaign is going to do well without a lot of prayer. I say pray. Where's God leading you? What part do you want to play in this campaign? Can you be a monetary giver? If so, pray about the amount. The other thing is, tell your friends. Mm-hmm. Be a great ambassador for Open House Ministries. We can spread the word only so much, but you folks in the community can talk so much about Open House and let people know what we're up to, what we're doing. And I just think, through prayer and communication, that this Project Cornerstone is going to be successful.
And I think, sometimes too, if the Lord is laying something on someone's heart with specific skills that they have or things that their business could do for Open House, that could be another thing, and maybe they could contact you if they have something specific that they want to see if that would be helpful. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's good. Great, another question. Okay, how will 30 apartments help when there are so many homeless families?
Yeah, that seems to be a question that's asked in a lot of respects. And I think that we can only do and help what the Lord provides. So when people are in front of us, we can provide those opportunities. And so for 30 apartments, that's 30 more apartments than we currently have. And I think the other thing for me is that then it also opens up the flow that as residents are able to leave the shelter, then that opens up the shelter in order to help more families. So it's not really 30 apartments. It really is double and triple that when you look at the flow of people that we are able to minister to and that are able to go through that program. Michael, do you have some additional comments on that?
Well, Open House is a great solution to many folks' homeless problems because when you successfully go through the program, you don't go back into homelessness. And so how will 30 apartments help? Because 30 apartments are going to house roughly 100 people who are in homelessness at any one given time. And those 100 people are also going to be exiting into our society and our town and elsewhere as they find permanent housing and gainful employment and all that kind of stuff. It's a wonderful program.
Great. So I actually see a few questions coming in about the voucher program and how is it going to work. Those kind of questions, so great questions to have. It's a big answer. So really, I'd love for anyone to reach out and contact myself at Open House, and I can answer those questions. The idea for Open House West is that we won't be a voucher program. We'll have a standard rent, and then it'll be depending on the income that that person's bringing in. So there won't be a subsidy involved. Just real quick, during the video when you heard about vouchers, those are vouchers offered through the Vancouver Housing Authority, and we're trying to take the load off of them so that they can give vouchers to other people in the community. So again, if you have questions more in depth, please contact me at Open House Ministries.
And I see another question that came in, will there be a mortgage in place? I'm assuming for the apartments for OHM West.
Go ahead, Michael.
I'll take that. We hope not, and that's not our goal. But there may be some short-term borrowing because of how people gift over time and so forth, and pledge their donations over time, and for a small portion of the overall cost. But we don't anticipate that as a major function of this campaign.
Thanks, Michael. I see another question. Do you have to be an Open House graduate to live in the new apartment building?
Oh, great question. So the idea of adding this housing is that the stay at Open House can shorten. So you don't necessarily need to be a graduate. You may move over there midstream while you're involved in the program at Open House Ministries, and then you can finish the program while you're over there. One of the things we are looking to do is add on-site staff. We currently do that at the shelter, and we're looking to do that over at Open House West as well. Accountability for the residents is always really important, but knowing that half of our staff are actual graduates from the program,
including you.
Absolutely. So the answer is yes. It is absolutely an extension of our Open House Ministries program. Great. Here's another one. Why are you putting the thrift store and bike shop in the new building?
The thrift store and bike shop are major portions, actually, of what is done at Open House Ministries. They provide vocational training and partial funding for our programs that are there. So it is very critical that we have that around where we have the people we serve. And in the new building, it's actually going to have greater retail frontage, more visibility, more square footage, and we couldn't be more excited.
So I see another question that just popped up. This is going to be a long program if you answer this one. How is Open House different than other homeless facilities?
Great one. First off, we're a faith-based family shelter.
Amen.
We don't take any funding that steers us away from being able to talk about Jesus Christ, our Lord. And I think not being time finite. We know that changing habits takes quite a long time. And so we're not stuck in these 30, 60, 90-day time frames where you just kind of Band-Aid it and move folks along. We're really about life restoring, moving forward, being able to sustain and be a productive person in society. And I don't think a lot of other facilities or homeless shelters are able to do that.
Yeah, making a change, breaking the cycle.
Exactly.
Generational. It's pretty amazing having worked with some of the families and seeing the changes that occur. And that doesn't happen in a 30-day, 60-day in and out program.
Right. And, you heard Keely talk earlier about being second generation. And, what she didn't say is she's going to be the final generation.
Yes.
Right. She's going to break the cycle of homelessness with her family. And it's because of Open House Ministries.
And anywhere in the country that you see these really successful organizations. They're faith-based and they're restorative. And they're restorative with wraparound services. So we don't really have a one-size-fits-all mold. We meet people where they are and work out an individual program for their needs and stick with them until we know that program works for them. And that's a much different approach than the majority of shelter out there. Thanks for that question.
Yeah. Right, yeah. And just thank you all for tuning in tonight. I know your time is very valuable. And just please remember, if you have any questions, we'd love to sit down and chat with you further. You can contact Michael, Londa, myself. You can contact Jean. If you call Open House Ministries main line or email any of us, and we would love to meet with you one-on-one and answer any other questions that you might have. I thank you all for joining us tonight, and God bless.
This is our moment to make a lasting impact for Open House Ministries that will benefit our entire community for decades to come. I'm here to ask you to think big. Unlike other fundraising projects, we have a hard deadline because of the need to realign Jefferson Street, and that realignment will cause the demolition of the building that holds the bike shop and the thrift store, what Michael referred to earlier as the old hotel. In order for us to take the necessary steps to begin moving ground and building our new facility, we need to act now. We are in the permitting stage and have a construction-ready site, but what is holding us back is the funding to reach our goal. And that brings me back to thinking big. Just like Open House Ministries does for the residents, as you saw on the live video featuring Jen, Ariana, Tiffany, and Keely, when they walk through the doors of Open House Ministries, they begin the process of restoration. Open House Ministries encourages each person to look at their life through a new lens by using faith as their guide. Today, I encourage you to do the same. Use your faith as you decide how much you're going to give toward this project. Now, it's easy to give to Open House Ministries. They truly are a best practice organization serving the homeless in our community. Let's continue to help them grow to become that cornerstone our city needs. I'd also like to thank Robertson and Olson, Lisa Slater Architect, and the staff and team at Open House Ministries that make these miracles happen. Thank you.